the 2K Sports pregame show.
Hello, basketball fans. I'm Ernie Johnson, welcoming you to 2K Sports. I'm here with Kenny the Jet Smith and Shaquille O'Neal. Tonight, we'll be watching the Houston Rockets playing against the Los Angeles Lakers at Staples Center. For Los Angeles, it's been a difficult part of the season. The first half of the season has not been kind to them, and unfortunately, with their play lately, they're not exactly giving off the vibe that they're ready to turn things around. In a league of giants, the NBA community loves to cheer for the little guy. One of the best ever players under 6 feet tall, got to be Isaiah Thomas. Guys, just how is he able to dominate when he's listed at, what, 5'9"?
Yeah, I mean, his domination comes from his speed and quickness. And actually, it's an advantage. He uses his lack of size as an advantage because he sees avenues and lanes that typically taller players can't see. Great outside shot, what makes you cover him. This guy has the total package.
A short guy sees lanes that taller players can't see.
No question.
Anyway, plays with zero fear in this game. Reminds me of a little bit of Allen Iverson.
So Isaiah Thomas, 5'9". Shaq, when he was born, you don't realize this, was 5'10".
Wow.
Yeah.
5'10".
Here's Kevin
5'10".
Harlan.
5'10".
It's a Western Conference battle here at the Staples Center in downtown Los Angeles as the Lakers look to work home court advantage. Well, before you look ahead to your busy week, sit down, relax, pull up a chair as we bring you another NBA broadcast. And thanks for sharing part of your weekend with us. I'm Kevin Harlan, joined by Chris Webber, Greg Anthony. On our sideline is reporter David Aldridge. And a bit of a treat for all our fans out there. The one and only Kobe Bryant's going to join us for this portion of the broadcast. Kobe, what a great honor to have you with us. Thanks for stopping by.
No, happy to stop by. Thanks for having me.
You might have a career in broadcasting, though.
I'm good. I'm good.
No chance, huh?
No, thank you.
I'm glad we've got you tonight.
And speaking of the trade, I spoke to him earlier, and man, was he excited about getting the opportunity at a fresh start. Yeah, he thinks he'll be able to get them to that next level, and I'm sure that's what their thought process was when they made the deal.
Here's the starting group for Houston. Paul and Harden, the star-studded backcourt. Anderson is down low with Capella, and it's Ariza in at the 3 slot. Kobe, for a guy like yourself who made an incredible amount of three-point shots during your career, what is it like watching Steph Curry? Just how much has he changed the league? It was always watching the dunks of Jordan. Now we got kids that want to shoot the ball from distance.
Yeah, shooting the ball from distance now has kind of become like the home run in baseball, right? Where it's exciting to watch the ball in flight. I think it's great because it just adds more love to the game, more things that players could do or kids can do that can't dunk, right? It's like dunking was the thing, right? But now for kids that can't dunk, there's something else that's fun. Something else that's entertaining, like shooting threes. Right? So
but boy, that takes a lot of work.
Yeah, it sure does. I mean, it's a lot of repetition.
Hundreds of shots daily.
Yeah, and it's a lot of repetition. I mean, you know, Steph, you watch him out there playing and making all these shots. Yeah. He's put in hours and hours and hours of hard work and continues to do so.
First free throw is good. With that three-point shooting on the rise, Kobe, if you were coming into the league right now, would you try to lean more in that direction than the incredible acrobat that you were when you were in your prime?
It depends who I was playing against. You know, I try to build my game to be able to do all those things.
And you could. I mean, you're like one of the few guys that could do it.
Yeah, so it just depends on who I was matching up against, which determines then how I would try to punish the defense.
I like that word.
Yeah. I was trying to think of a softer one. I was like, yeah, no, punish is a good one.
You're honest. Now, here's Ball. He's coming off a 16-point game against Denver.
He's clanking everything to start this game.
And over the course of your career, Kobe, 5 NBA championships. Are there any of those that really stand out among the 5 that you accumulated?
The last one, beating the Celtics. That was the hardest one by far to get.
Why so?
Well, you know, we're going into Boston now with the series tied 1-1. And Boston is absolutely excited about having this split and going home now and having 3 games at home, thinking that the series was not going to come back to L.A. And so that was an interesting playing fight for us. And then to go out and get the very next game, just to go down 3-2, coming back to L.A., and then to finally pull out that series after being down 15 in the fourth quarter against the Celtics. Can't get any better than that.
Oh, after falling short on their first 4 shots, they got one to go, and now they're 1 for 5 from the field.
And the trend around the league, Kobe, is more offense, more three-pointers, certainly spacing, fluid offense. Scoring is up around the league in a measurable way from, it seems like, year to year. Do you like the way this is trending, or do you think the NBA should maybe put a governor on this, harness it in just a little bit?
Well, I think it'll swing back to the way, I mean.
Do you?
Yeah, because the game has gone through that progression before. And, you know, it's constantly evolving. And so I think you'll see it swing back eventually. You'll have a couple teams that are just big and may have a dominant post player, and all of a sudden you're going inside, and then that team will win a championship, and then the rest of the teams in the league will try to copycat the way the game is played that way. Then things will swing back. So it's just natural evolution of the game, I think.
Hits it from three-point range. Kobe, a big part of the talent evaluation today is the psychological impact and that aspect, which I think will lead teams toward one prospect over another. If you were looking for personality traits in players and you were making that decision for a team, what trait would you value the most in a player?
No, curiosity. Without a shadow of a doubt, it's curiosity.
Why so?
Because curious people will always ask why things work or don't work.
And you were a big why asker.
You have to, because that's the only reason you win, is when you can figure out why things happened or didn't happen. Right? If you lose a game, a curious person won't point the finger. A curious person will say, well, why did we lose? You know, instead of just saying them,
right.
They're going to go back and check the film and ask questions. Okay, why did we mess up there? Why did we blow that coverage there?
And looking back at last season, here's a look at the 3-point and 2-point shot attempt averages for the Rockets.
And they really based almost their entire offense around the 3-point shot. Spread the floor, space the defense, and if the deep shots aren't falling, at least it should open things up inside.
Now, here's Ball. He's been a reliable scorer for him as he's averaging up over 13 points a game. He dishes it to Thomas. Lopez a screen. Just 5 to shoot. Here's Ingram. Los Angeles with another miss. Houston leading by 11. And Kobe, how did you learn to watch tape? Because there are guys now watching tape and they'll just go, and you wonder if it's really even sinking in.
Trial and error.
Yeah, right. But really, that was it.
Trial and error. You know, you start looking at things, you start saying, man, like if I'm watching an edit on a player and I watch one particular game and then I look at the next game and he's doing the same thing. And the next night, he's doing the same thing. Hold on, let me go back and watch. And then you start looking for consistent behaviors or patterns in their behavior. And then you think, okay, maybe that's something that's a tendency for him. Let me go back and check. 2 dribbles, turn. 2 dribbles, turn. 2 dribbles, turn. 2 dribbles, turn. 2 dribbles. Oh, my God. Yeah,
there
that's
it is.
it.
There's the pattern.
Right, so what if I interrupt him between his first and second dribble and throw him off a rhythm? What'll happen then? Right? What if I know he's going to go 1-2, turn right shoulder? I let him go 1-2. Now I jump to his right shoulder. Now he can't turn there. What happens then? Right? You throw him off of their patterns.
Now here's Ball. Following the miss by Trevor Ariza. Ball kicks to Thomas. On target from 13 feet. Thomas got his first 2 points of the night. Some say, Kobe, that the shooting guard crop in the NBA right now, a little light in terms of depth, not quite as many top 2 guards as we used to see play the game. Who do you like among some of the 2 guards you see now in the NBA?
Well, it depends who we're considering the 2 guard.
Right, because they just blend,
the 2s,
don't they?
The 3s, they all just blend.
Combo guards are playing some forward position. It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah. So, shooting guards to me are guards that have to do everything. You have to be able to play the post. You have to be able to play the perimeter. You have to be able to play the point. You have to do everything. So I'll put Russell Westbrook in that category. I'll put James Harden in that category. I'll put Kawhi Leonard in that category. There's a lot of players I'm forgetting. Even Giannis, I would say, is a 2 guard because of what he does.
Yes.
So there's a lot of talented guards out there.
Did you like the ball in your hand, bringing it up, or would you have rather someone else bring it up, then get it to you in the half court, and then do what you did?
Yeah, that's the one thing I'm jealous about Michael, because Michael didn't have to do that. He had Pippen.
Yes, right, who always brought it up.
Yeah, so he could focus on coming off the screens and catching and shooting. He didn't have to think about facilitating first. He could think about scoring and then passing out of double teams.
And Clint Capella is going to pick up the foul. That is his first foul of the game. And Kobe, you played for a handful of coaches during your career. When you look back on it, was there one coach you wished you could have played for but didn't have maybe a chance to play for?
Greg Popovich. That's an easy one for me. Although I did play for him in several All-Star games.
Yes, you did.
And one particular All-Star game in practice, he came up to me and said, okay, do you want me to just kind of go through like a whatever practice, or do you want me to do the real thing? I said, Pop, you got to do the real thing, because I've been dying to see what really goes on inside these Spurs practices.
Oh,
so you
my
gotta,
gosh.
You got to give us a real practice, man.
Yeah.
And he did. And Tim just kind of looked at me and was like, dude, seriously.
What are you doing here?
Come on, you're killing me.
So what was a Popovich practice like for you, and how did you try to set the tone?
It was high energy, and we moved from drill to drill. And it involved a lot of passing and moving and spacing. And so all of the shooting, it wasn't any individual shooting. All the individual shooting took place within a 5-man offensive structure, of ball movement, of passing and cutting, and all of a sudden your shot comes here in the corner, and then you slide up to the next line, and you dribble, penetrate, and kick it, and then you slide to the next line, dribble, penetrate, kick, right? So it involved constant movement where you're constantly training and conditioning the body, that you're not just going to pass and stand and be a participant, right? You're going to be involved into that, in the action, not going to be a passive participant.
Yeah, he's got to make some adjustments here. Just too easy to score in the lane against them right now.
Well, I think the first thing they need to talk about are the rotations. There's a lot of miscommunication out there.
And Kobe, something that has changed in the NBA over the course of your career is the role of the power forward, the 4. More and more you need to be able to stretch the floor, take your guy outside, shoot the 3. Do you feel that that's a trend, or is that something you think that is here to stay in the NBA?
Well, I think things will evolve and things will change. I mean, you start getting power forwards like Tim Duncan and Garnett back in the league, Dirk. All of a sudden, it becomes less and less of a commodity to have smaller fours,
right?
Because you're going to need to deal with the Tim Duncans and the Garnetts of the world, So I think it's just a natural evolution thing.
Did you, when you had to guard a big like that, ever fear going out and trying to get him on the side, or even working him inside the lane where he would have more power, more advantage?
No, I never worried about it too much. What I try to do is I always try to study the film and figure out what their tendencies are, what their sweet spots are, and you just try to get them off of that. It's not necessarily about the size of them, but how do you get yourself in position when you can knock them off balance a little bit and use the lack of size that you have to disorient them.
And here is Paul following Lonzo Ball's 3. Paul, and he finishes nicely on the layup. And the Rockets lead by 16. Kobe, you're a father. You've enjoyed that process, but basketball got in the way a lot of that. How do you balance fatherhood and playing at the level you played at?
Yeah, when I was winning championships there, our kids were still relatively young, or I should say babies. In my last few years, they were older and knew they could really feel my absence. And so what I try to do is try to bring them along for the process. So there were mornings I would wake them up and say, let's go. So we're going. Well, Daddy's going to go train, so let's go.
No kidding.
And I bring them with me. And they'd be in the gym shooting around or kicking a soccer ball around or hitting a volleyball around. But I felt like it was important as a father to not just tell them about hard work, but they need to see what I'm doing. When you're sleeping, this is what I'm doing here for 3 hours. And so they're a part of the process and feel connected to the process. But traveling and things of that nature is very, very hard, because there's been plenty of birthdays that I've missed and school plays that I've missed.
And here is Los Angeles now. The Rockets making the shot. Lopez sets a screen for Ingram. High post try. Gets some rim on the way in, and the bucket's good. Ingram's got his first basket.
And how about that exhale there? Finally gets one to fall through 6 attempts.
And now the first timeout called here for the Rockets. Traveling was a part of your job, a part of mine. You missed some things with the kids, but I know you take pride, Kobe, in the fact that you made it to a lot of things as well. You were not an absent parent.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's having a great partner. I mean, my wife has been absolutely amazing, which I think is extremely important as well, because she really held down the fort at home, which to me is the toughest job in the world to do. You know, I have it easy in terms of going out there and playing games, but to have the responsibility of actually raising young people to be outstanding citizens. You talk about pressure. I mean, that's you know, I have to ask her how she feels about handling that. You know what I mean? Because that's true pressure.
Well said.
Yeah, off to a strong start here early. 6 points off second chance buckets.
And Gordon over to help. Ennis dishes to Fry. Fires the jumper from the corner and nails it. Hey, Kobe, after dedicating pretty much your entire life to the game of basketball, game that I know you love, you said you don't miss it. Why is that?
Well, because I've been through that process. I mean, I started playing a game when I was like 2 years old, and you know, playing professionally for 20 years, and I left no stone unturned. So there's no regrets there. You know, I've done everything I could possibly do, and truthfully, the game is still with me. You know, the discipline has changed. The industry might have changed, but the same approach, the same things that I've learned from the game, I carry with me to this day. So the game is still inside of me.
Here's Gordon after the basket by the Lakers.
Don't let Gordon shoot it.
He kicks it to Tucker. 6 feet out. And oh boy, a lot of contact there, but he gets the call and will shoot 2. Kobe, and any chance you might coach or might be a consultant to an organization, for instance?
Nah.
No, not at all.
You know, listen, players reach out to me and they'll call me and I'll give them advice, and I like it better that way as opposed to, you know, being tied down with one particular franchise. And you know, I like what I'm doing now, and any player from all over the world can reach out, and you know, I'm there for them in terms of providing advice or counsel.
Well, the story got out last year in the playoffs that Isaiah Thomas and you had some conversations.
Yeah. Well, you know, he reached out and had some questions about how to approach that particular series, and I just said, send me over the film. What are you looking at? And I'll tell you. I'll take a look at it and I'll tell you what I see, and then you can go from there.
You know, Kobe, the league seems to be moving away from isolation basketball, sometimes called hero ball, in favor of more ball movement, more of a fluid offense. What do you make of that trend?
Well, I think it's the right thing. I mean, if you look at the way the Knicks played, for example, when they had Bill Bradley, Busher, Phil was coming off the bench.
Well, you are a historian. You love the history of the game, don't you?
Oh, my God,
I mean, I can just tell working with you.
Yeah. Holtzman was coaching. You had Frazier out there. I mean, they moved the ball. I mean, everything was predicated on ball movement, as was the Celtics with Brett Auerbach. And then in the 80s, things changed a little bit. You start going to more isolation ball, where guys would post deep and force the double coverage to come all the way down to them, and then you start moving the ball around. Now you start seeing a spread offense where the ball's moving again like it was when the Knicks were playing, when the Celtics were playing. And so, you know, I think it just depends on the style of defense that you're seeing and the personnel that you have. I think that determines your style of play.
Kobe, that fadeaway jump shot of yours is such a foundational part of your game. What's the key to that particular shot? And who's carrying the torch for that shot now?
Well, yeah, the fadeaway is there's different ways to shoot the fadeaway. There's a Hakeem Olajuwon way of shooting the fadeaway. There's a Michael way of shooting the fadeaway.
Oscar used to do it, and I know you.
Oscar used to do it quite a bit. So I try to use bits and pieces from each, depending on the defender that I'm facing. But yeah, there's certain players that are carrying that shot now. LeBron shoots the fadeaway quite often, as does KD. He shoots it a lot. Clay will shoot it. You know, Kawhi will shoot it quite a bit off of pull-up jumpers and things of that sort. So there are a lot of players doing it.
A team's rebounding is a great measure of its energy, and theirs has been terrific here in the first quarter.
And the Lakers with another miss.
And he's just a tough defender. Good positioning to get after that shot.
Well, not all defenses are constructed to protect the mid-range area. Nicely done that time.
They could use a big shot here to get this offense going.
Too many empty possessions. Right now, they need a basket. And a good example there of why it's important to change ends quickly.
Yeah, talent in this league has it so that now pretty much every team can push the pace. You have to get back on defense.
Now, here's Tucker. Back to Gordon. He's now 1 for 2 with that bucket.
And boy, have they come out strong, really pounding the offensive board for second chance points.
Ennis passes to Fry. They set the screen. Ennis kicks to Fry. Bangs home the trifecta. Fry's got 5 points so far.
Oh, just a brick wall of a screen. Knocks the defender out of the play.
Outside Gordon. Screen by Baamute. And so it's Houston. Their lead at 15 going into the break. They've been playing some inspired defense, giving up very few easy points. And we'll be right back after this. And you talk to Chris Paul, and it's clear he was born to play the point guard position.
Fortunately, I've always been vertically challenged, so I've never had to play power forward or center on anybody's team. I've been passing and getting into the lane, dishing the ball off to a teammate, helping people score my entire career.
Vertically challenged, that's classic coming from Chris Paul. But, you know, seriously, Greg, he's taken that challenge and made the most of what he's got. A terrific play.
Really, and you know what? He's actually turned that challenge on his head when he goes right at much bigger players and uses their size against them.
Gordon.
Well, not exactly a close game so far, but as the second quarter starts here, plenty of time for a comeback. And for the Rockets here, they've been putting on a show, guys.
And through that first period, for me, their work on the glass has been the difference.
Well, it means extra possessions, and that's certainly reflected in the score right now.
They've got Hart. Channing Frye out there with Ivica Zubac. Then it's Ennis, and it's Kuzma in at the 3. That's the group for the Lakers to start the second quarter. Back to Ennis. Now, here's Frye, guarded by Tucker. Zubac, no good.
Yeah, and they've shown effort and aggression in the paint, really right from the tip. Their rebounding edge right now, massive.
And with all the different technological advances in the league, you see a lot of player and coaches now reviewing clips and tablets and a lot of film sessions. I know you used to study a lot of the league's videotapes. How much easier is film study now, say, from the time in the late 90s when you got in the NBA?
It's so much easier.
Really?
Oh, my God. When I used to get in the hotel rooms, you used to have to call the front desk. They used to roll up the TV on the wheels.
With the VCR machine.
With the VCR connected to it, right? And I have to have all of these tapes. And you got to put the tape in, and you got to rewind it, and you got to fast forward, and you got to rewind it.
Yeah.
Now it's just everything's right there in front of you, right? And it's very easy to skip and go to the next game and then jump back to the game before or fast forward to the fourth quarter. I mean, it's so easy now.
Here's Tucker after Los Angeles picked up 3 with their last shot.
Down low, Nene.
Gordon dishes to Baamute. Back to Gordon from deep. Good on the 3-point shot. Gordon's got 5.
That lightning quick release. Gordon catching and firing perfectly. You can't guard that.
Well, Kobe, it seems like the NBA is becoming less a position-based and more of a skill, position-less game. Perimeter skill now seems to be at a premium. Do you agree with that? Do you like that? Would you change that?
Well, I think players need to be able to play all positions on the floor, right? If you look at the teams that win championships, they generally have every player that's on the floor can make a decision. Every player can dribble, every player can pass, every player can shoot, right? There's a reason why San Antonio's always finding themselves there in the end. The reason why the Cavs are finding themselves there in the end. It's the reason why Golden State's because they have playmakers at every position on the floor.
They have basketball players.
They have basketball players, right? Not specialists. They have basketball players.
Thomas checked in for Hart. Houston also making some changes. Reza comes in for Baamute. And Paul subbed in for Green. Timeout called the Lakers. Well, Kobe, something that's such a huge tool in the NBA and the team's offense is the pick and roll, the screen roll game. You've done it as well as anybody. Just how are the nuances and the attention to detail important to make that play work?
Well, it's really important, but the screen roll today is run differently than it was, say, when Utah was running it with Stockton and Malone. what you're seeing now is more of a spread floor screen roll action where it makes rotations very difficult because you have to rotate off of shooters at a distance.
Right.
So now what you tend to see more teams try to down pick and roll coverages and sending guys to one side of the floor and try to play the screen roll coverage with 2 men and try to not have 3 guys in the action where you have to rotate and now push your team behind. Right, and that it's a dance of, can you play the screen roll with just 2 guys? And on offense, can I force you to have a 3rd guy come in and rotate? If I can do that offensively, then you're behind.
Kobe LeBron said he learned so much about how to approach the game when you shared the floor on Team USA. What was it like playing with a guy like him, as you also played with Jordan, and then going up against him all those years?
Well, I think it was a shocking experience for them because I don't think they realized how much I talk trash. So,
no.
Yeah,
what?
I don't think they knew because, you know, when you from a distance, you say, Kobe, we thought you were really quiet and all sorts of stuff, and you get to practice and I just don't shut up. And I'm just saying really brutal things about their game. And it's just, you know, they're getting really ticked off. But
yeah,
then,
because you were right.
Yeah,
well,
but then the intensity of practice goes up another level. And then we'd all go out to dinner. And then the next morning, you know, we come into the meeting and I've already been working out for 2 hours. And so then they see that. And then, you know, D Wade would come up and say, hey, man, I want to join you in your workouts. What time are we going? 5 a.m. Right, he'd be down there working out. And then Brian said, yo, I want to come too. So Brian would show up, and then Melo would show up. And all slowly but surely, we'd have our whole USA team in the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning training.
What a constructive time I would think.
That was
for those
beautiful.
other players.
But it was fun for all of us because we got a chance to hang around each other and think about the competition. Right? So now when we come back to the NBA, fans are getting a better product. Right? Because we've all been working out and pushing each other and getting better off of each other. So now when we step on the court to compete against each other, that means we have to take our games to another level.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
That's a great story. The dunk and the foul, a powerhouse move, and he's got a chance for one more at the line. That's on Clint Capella.
I love how Ball moves the rock. Incredible instincts on the offensive end.
For Los Angeles, they have shot 2 free throws, and they're 1 of 2 so far.
One shot.
And that one misses.
Well, after getting to the stripe in the first quarter, he's definitely been more assertive driving inside.
Hey, get CP3.
Paul outside. And the whistle blows, so a chance here for a 3-point play. So last season, Kobe, one of the closest MVP races we've had in a long time, came down to Westbrook and Harden. Who did you think was going to win before the results came out, and why?
Yeah, I didn't even stop to think about that because they're both like little brothers to me. So even though I could sit there and say,
LA
okay,
kids too.
Yeah, I know them both extremely well, and they're both extremely deserving of it. So I've refused to split it.
Yeah.
You know, they're both my guys.
And different kinds of games and both sensational individual players.
Yeah, they're just phenomenal. I mean, they can do so many things in the game. And now I think the next progression for them is to be able to dominate the game off the ball just as much as they can dominate on the ball, right? Because in the playoffs, the defense has a hard time finding them.
Thomas passes to Lopez. Good, and the assist goes to Thomas. Thomas got 3 assists now in this one.
Oh, the assist from Thomas, finding the open man. Nice decision offensively.
It's Harden with the drive, stolen by Ball. Fast break, the Lakers. That one drops, and he's now 2 for 5.
Yeah, Ball just really good at running in transition, smart at knowing where to sprint to in the open floor.
And that replay presented by Under Armour, showing us the fantastic steal that led to that fast break finish. Another unleashed chaos moment. And to have the ball in your hands at all times, always bringing it up. It's exhausting, though, right? That's what they say.
But
now,
for you, the defense sees you, right?
Yeah.
So if you're handling the ball, the defense has eyes on you at all times. You're here. You're right in front of the defense. When you don't have the ball, you're moving behind them. Curry moves behind. He'll bring it up, pass it, and now he's running off the screens behind the defense, right? And it's hard to find him.
Rip Hamilton the same way.
Rip Hamilton the same way.
I know.
Jordan, flare picks, down screens, slicing into the post, right? Coming up to the pinch post. All those operational things take place behind the view of the defense.
And Kobe, your spectacular high school career at Lower Merion High School in Philadelphia, and that Philadelphia area paved the way for your NBA career. Talk about some of the highlights of your days in high school.
Well, my days in high school they were fun. I mean, I played at a small high school called Lower Merion High School, so not too many people heard of it. You know, when you come to Philadelphia, the schools that you hear of are Overbrook, where Wilt Chamberlain went to school, Bartram, right, where Earl the Pearl Monroe went to school, right? But you never heard of little old Lower Merion High School, right? So it was a huge honor to be able to bring a state championship to Lower Merion and kind of put Lower Merion on the map. And that's the most exciting part about it.
Oh, a terrific story indeed. A huge honor, I'm sure. And it's Ingram missing.
He finds a major hole in the D beyond the arc and still can't cash in on it.
Ariza kicks to Paul. Back to Ariza. And a great assist by Paul as that one goes in. And it's 8 points for Trevor Ariza. And Kobe, you've had so many fans from high school that carried over to your NBA days. In the stands now, in fact, you'll see fans with Lower Merion High School jerseys on.
How cool is that?
That's amazing.
How cool is that? You know, to actually be able to see a bunch of Aces jerseys in the crowd when literally nobody knew where Lower Merion was. There's actually a school called Upper Merion. So everybody used to confuse the two. Just say, hey, yeah, I saw you when you played at Upper Merion. Say, hold on, dude. No, Lower Merion, man, get it right. Don't forget it, Lower Merion.
That one good for 2. And that's now 10 points for Clint Capella. Kobe, you played in a big market like Los Angeles, one of the biggest in the world, but many are saying that market size matters less and less into the future of the NBA. Do you agree with that?
Well, in a certain aspect, yes, because of the digital age that we live in. I mean, the world is considerably smaller. You have access to market at the touch of a button.
So we see Milwaukee Bucks highlights with Antetokounmpo as much as we would see a Kobe Bryant highlight with Los Angeles.
Absolutely. But still, fundamentally, to play in a market like Los Angeles, you know, Los Angeles being the entertainment capital of the world, New York being a great market as well, you know, it's hard to top those no matter how digitally enhanced our society becomes.
And you know Harden loves using that shot fake and Euro step because it's so hard for defenders not to bite on it.
And he's got his first free throw of the game.
And with an 86% free throw average, you can count on him to come through on most trips.
Two.
That free throw missing.
Love the aggression that Harden plays with. This guy just goes all out.
And the second free throw, good. And you look at the NBA today and the social media, Kobe, a lot easier for NBA players to connect with fans over that social media platform. However, it's also easier to get people in trouble. Players have got to keep that periscope up, so to say. How hard do you think that is to manage?
Well, you know, I think now in this particular generation, the sensitivity towards things you may hear or see on social media is much different than it would have been years ago. In other words, nowadays for athletes to be on social media, it's more easily tolerable for them to say something, right? Or to be able to speak their mind.
Yes.
And I think the important thing is just the consistency in that. You know, if you have a thought and you want to say it, right? Put it out on social media. Do whatever it is that you want to do with it. The key is just to be consistent and be who you are, not be afraid to be who you are.
They've leaned on him tonight, and he's delivered with some great shooting.
Lakers trail by 15. Well, Kobe, you look at all the former Defensive Player of the Year, and they're almost always big men. You were a 9-time first-team all-defensive selection in the NBA. Do you think guards sometimes get overlooked at the impact they have in a game and a play?
Yeah, they definitely do.
All the time, huh?
I think the bigs have a huge responsibility in protecting the rim, and those things are very easy to measure.
Right, block shots
blocks
and exactly,
whether you're
rebounding.
altering shots or defensive rebounds. For guards, it's tougher. Guards is tougher. But
shots.
still in all, there's some guards out there who have done it. You know, Michael and Gary Payton and, you know, Kawhi Leonard, I count him as a guard. You know, they're just phenomenal defensive players.
Where does that mindset come from, that defensive mindset, when you're an offensive gifted player like yourself?
Well, I think that's a truly competitive person. You know, some players will call themselves competitive, but you're not truly competitive if you only compete at one end of the floor. That's not what true competitive people do.
Good on the second free throw. Kobe, there are a lot of great guards and wings in the league right now. When you look around, are there any that remind you of the way you played, or maybe are approaching, you know, going down that road and say, I want to be like Kobe Bryant? I watch a lot of his tapes, much like you did when you were growing up.
Yeah, well, Isaiah has a hunger and a thirst for the game, and he's not going to stop. He's constantly curious. He's constantly working.
His size makes him a different kind of guy, though.
Isn't that unbelievable, though?
It is shocking.
That's unbelievable. But he can finish at the rim. He can shoot the long ball. He can pull up left and right. You know, he has great physicality and a great body about him where he can punish bigs at the rim. And the other is Kawhi. I mean, when I watch Kawhi play, I just like, you know, I'm just like looking in the mirror. You know, the moves, the positions on the floor.
So glad you said that. I feel the same way.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, and it's a great, great feeling because, you know, I'm sure Michael felt the same way. Right? When he retired and he watched me play, you're seeing the same spots. You're seeing a person who studied the person that came before, and there's no need to reinvent the wheel when the wheel's already been created. You just put it on a different car.
Well, you know, he has been guided by his coaching staff to watch you and Michael Jordan tape, and I think that's kind of what he's done. Yeah, well, we've you know, connected. We've talked about this stuff before in the past, and you know, again, he's a curious kid and all business. Yeah, curious. He steps out on the floor. He's all business. There's nothing funny. There's nothing silly going on. He's here to do his job, and he's here to help San Antonio win games. And Mbaamute's checked in for Houston. Gerald Green comes in for Trevor Ariza. On the wing, Green. Off target from outside. Lakers trail by 15. Here's Kuzma. 5 points in the game. Over Green. Kuzma can't get it to go. Houston's gotten fond of that three-point shot here in the second quarter. 4 of 9. Harden with it. Now guarded by Ball. Outside, Green. The three. Here's Capella. Kicks it out to Paul. From outside, off the mark.
He's tried to get it going, but the shots simply have not been there. Nothing seems to be falling.
Here's Kuzma, guarded by Green, and Capella sends it back. Paul kicks to Green. Back to Paul. Harden sets the pick for Paul. Screen by Capella. A shot by Harden, wide open. No good on the three.
And they had some botched coverage that turned into no coverage.
And Clint Capella is going to pick up a foul. And that'll be his third foul so far. And the Lakers with some changes. Zubac is checked in for Lopez. Fry comes in for Julius Randle. And it's Ennis in for Ball. Houston also making some changes. Nene, he's checked in for Clint Capella. P.J. Tucker comes in for James Harden. And Gordon subbed in for Paul. Now here's Ennis. His last outing, he had 8 points. Pass to Zubac. 6 to shoot. To the middle. Here's Fry. No good off the back of the rim. And we'd like to thank you for stopping by, Kobe. Hope you come back and join us again.
I definitely will. I had a great time, man. Thank you for having me.
And Greg, how much fun was it to get to hear the perspective of Kobe and pick his brain while broadcasting a game?
I mean, it's just always interesting to hear what Kobe will notice about a player or a team that most fans, and for that matter, even some former players, they just don't think about. I think that's sometimes what gets lost with the truly great ones. Their minds don't function the way us normal human beings would go about looking at things.
36 seconds left in the first half. Gordon with it. 7 points in the game. Over Ennis. And it's Gordon missing. Lakers trail by 17. They've been struggling here on offense.
Yeah, a bit of a dry spell for sure.
Here's Kuzma. Their offense stone cold. Another miss there. Green dishes to Nene. Outside Gordon. Over Ennis. And it's in. Oh, wow. He nails the buzzer beater.
Great awareness of the clock to end the quarter.
I like that. Even though he's in a hurry, he still remains under control.
And so it's Houston with a 19-point advantage heading into the next quarter. And it's been their rugged defense setting the tone. And a chance now to send it over to David Aldridge standing by courtside. David.
Thanks, Kevin. Chris, hot start, cool finish. What happened out there?
Well, we came out with a lot of energy, but in the second quarter it died down a little bit. You know, it's real. Everybody's very excited. You know, our team's excited, their team's excited, officials excited, you know what I mean? So we just got to calm down and play a little bit.
And I'm excited. Thanks, Chris. Back to you, Kevin.
Okay, David, much appreciated. And now time for halftime. So we'll be back in just a bit to get the third quarter underway.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hey, everybody. Ernie Johnson joined by Kenny the Jet Smith and Shaquille O'Neal. Welcome to the NBA Halftime Show on 2K Sports.
Been working out.
James Harden led the way in the first half. He had 13 points, 3 assists, and 6 rebounds. Kenny, what'd you think about the Rockets?
Well, they were completely in rhythm shooting the basketball. Just watching the flow of their offense, everything clicked into place. Fantastic shot selection. They took advantage of everything the defense gave them.
Shaq, your take on the Lakers.
Way too soft in the paint defensively. They were all late on their rotations. Obviously, that's a recipe for getting cooked. And you know I like eating that barbecue chicken. They got to do better, Ernie.
That about wraps it up. Time now for the second half of the game. We go to Kevin Harlan for the call.
Well, we're getting back to the action now. It's been a one-team show so far. We'll see if that changes here in the third. An exceptional performance so far from James Harden.
Well, they've done a good job of letting the game come to them, and really few forced shots here so far.
Terrific first half on offense. This is how you draw it up. We'll see if they can maintain that efficiency going forward.
And as we begin the second half, first half wasn't even close, guys, and we'll see if there is a comeback on our hands or more of the same as we get the third quarter started. Chris, there have been some great sixth men on the teams that you played with, but right now, who do you feel are some of the best of the bunch coming off the bench and in the NBA right now?
Well, 2 of my rookies, 2 guys I got to play with, Andre Iguodala, I think he's always going to be kind of that perennial top for sixth man of the year. He and another guy that was a rookie with him, and that's Lou Williams. He can just get buckets at any time that he needs to. You look at a guy like a Patty Mills coming off the bench for the Spurs, and you don't have to necessarily do it with volume or with quantity, but it's also your quality of minutes, and I think that Patty Mills is someone that can definitely light it up in a flash. And these 3 guys, anytime you have them coming off the bench for you, you're going to have some firepower.
And on the floor for Mike D'Antoni starting the second half. The 2 pillars of this team, Chris Paul and Harden, are the 1 and the 2. Ariza and Anderson holding down the forward spots. And it's Capella in at the center position.
Shooting 2.
And the first one at the line is good.
And you think back to some of the highest paced and up-tempo teams in the league. This Houston group is right up there with all of them. They look to push it on you the second they get a chance.
He doesn't get the second one. And with the pace the Rockets play with, Chris, it isn't just running as soon as they can. Part of the decision to have Harden as the point guard last season was to speed up their playmaking from the beginning.
Well, the Rockets have streamlined everything and cut down the total time to run their sets. That's why they get so many possessions in the game. They know the more chances they get with their offense, the better the results are for them.
And here's Anderson after Isaiah Thomas made that last three-pointer. From downtown. And there's Ryan Anderson on the assist by Harden. Harden's got 4 assists now tonight. Ball kicks to Randall. And Thomas has it in the corner. Tried to come right back with the 3 of his own, but it's no good.
Well, his stroke has not been what they needed it to be, but looks like they're going to keep going to him.
And here's the fast break. Ball leading the way.
Big things come in small packages, Kevin. I mean, Thomas just contorting to finish through the foul. Well, how about Isaiah Thomas making his second All-Star game last season? I mean, many people felt he should have been a starter. The fan vote ended up early and giving it to Kyrie Irving and DeMar DeRozan instead, but terrific season for Isaiah Thomas.
One shot. One shot.
That free throw good from Isaiah Thomas. And Thomas last season setting career highs in scoring and efficiency, Chris.
Oh, well, he took his play to a new level. Only 5'9", but you can't measure the size of his heart.
Now here's Paul. He's got 7. Here's Ariza. And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot.
Oh, you love how physical Ariza is. Just attacking the D and earning the call in the process. Trevor Ariza, the veteran out of UCLA, he still gives you a little bit of everything on the wing. He's great in transition. He can hit shots from anywhere, but, you know, he's always been a leader.
Take a break. Take a break. 2 shots.
And he makes the first. And with Ariza, you think back to when he was a young player finding his way in this NBA out of UCLA, and Kobe took him under his wing when they played together for the Lakers, and now he is paying it forward. He's helping young players.
Yeah, he has a great work ethic instilled in him from with his time with Kobe. He's always been a leader. He knows how things work in this league, and Ariza, he's showing all the younger players on his team the ins and outs of how to succeed.
And that one goes in. 2 from the line that time.
And during Ariza's career, he has established himself as an effective role player and fantastic outside shooter and a tenacious defender.
From 13, Thomas, no good. Last outing for Houston, it was a loss to Indiana.
And that was a shocker. Hard to believe that they dropped the ball, so to speak, on that one, and probably a tough pill for them to swallow.
They were the clear favorite coming in. They seemed like a racehorse that was just waiting for the gate to open, but it just did not happen.
Not quite 2.5 minutes played here in the second half. And here's Harden. He's got 14. Here's Paul. And off the front iron, and in it goes. Paul's got 9 points.
Oh, great awareness. No reason to take it inside there against the taller man.
Well, he created a little separation from that mid-range. Just a good shot for him in that situation.
And the Lakers call time here. They're moving on after the tough loss they took at the hands of the Nuggets.
And on an ordinary night, guys, I think they would have come out on top. That's just how well they played, but they happened to catch an opposing team at the very top of their game.
Yeah, it was a shame anyone had to lose. Home court advantage may very well have been the difference.
Now here's Thomas. 10 points for him. Picked by Randall. To the paint. Trying to go for an alley-oop, but excellent defense and anticipation there to stop it. Paul left side. Basket number 5 goes in. He's now 5 of 12 from the floor.
Continuing to push the action and build this lead.
And you see he's not worried about what's on the scoreboard. He just wants to go ham each possession.
Now, here's Ball. He's been a reliable scorer for him as he's averaging up over 13 points a game. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Here's Thomas. He can't hit that time. Good D by Harden. Rockets leading by 23. And it's sent back by Lopez. Now Ball. And it's Randall, top of the key. And fouled on the shot, so the bucket counts and a chance for one more here.
Well, we've seen that movie a few times, haven't we? An easy bucket in the paint.
And Julius Randle, like a lot of these Lakers, still has room to develop defensively. Chris, what's the key for him at that end?
Well, he's already got a great nose for defensive rebounding. He's got to improve as a help defender a little bit, but he needs to use his mobility to cover that ground a little bit quicker and cut off the lane.
Mind the lanes.
On the free throw, no good. And Chris, Julius Randle with outstanding court vision for a power forward.
That ability to create offense for himself and his teammates is going to be a huge asset.
Now here's Ariza. He's got 10. Right wing. Paul for 3. Paul can't get that one to fall. Lakers trail by 21. Ball, the pass to Thomas. Picked by Randall. Now here's Ball. Defended by Paul. Thomas, good.
Their three-point percentage has taken a big leap here in this second half.
Paul kicks to Harden. To the paint. Oh, a nice defensive play to disrupt the alley-oop. And now the fast break. Thomas with the ball. And that one good. Randall's got 5 now.
Timely passing leads to assists, and that's been the recipe for success.
Houston leading by 16. Now here's Harden. He's got 14. Over Thomas. A tad short, but it's good off the front iron. 16 points for James Harden.
I mean, you got to love, I love the aggressiveness of Harden on offense, just relentless in how he constantly looks for his shots.
Here's Ball. The Rockets pull it in. Earlier, they held a 23-point lead. Paul dishes to Harden. Stolen by Ball. And he banks in the layup. He's got 12.
And the offense has just operated really smoothly here in the open floor.
Well, you want to know what this is? This is just an example of a team that is on the same page on offense. They really get the ball moving as quickly as possible once they get it.
Paul outside. Screen by Capella. Harden kicks to Anderson. Launches it. No good on that one. So Los Angeles will take it the other way. Here's Thomas. The Lakers rebound. Lopez. And he gets the bucket.
And they're forcing the ball inside, and it's working like a charm.
Brook Lopez coming over to the Lakers this past summer in a deal for D'Angelo Russell. Strange to see Lopez not in a Nets uniform as he had been with the team so long, but he is someone this Lakers team wanted.
Yeah, I mean, the Lakers saw a strong center to help take this team to the next level. Lopez gives you a lot and doesn't need a lot, so it'll be a big help with the maturing of this young Lakers core.
And Chris, you've been working as an analyst now for quite some time. Do you feel that how you view and enjoy the game has changed as you've transitioned from being a player on the floor to the booth?
You know what? I've learned a lot, and I've learned to look at the game a different way, but I look at the game the same way. I think the onus is on the player to execute what the coach and the GM puts out there for you to do, for you not to become a one-dimensional player, for you to improve in the summertime. That's the only time you can improve. And when you don't come back and you don't improve, it's obvious that you have the same glaring weaknesses that you had the year before. even if you're not on a team that can compete for a championship, you want to make sure that you compete for a championship, that you compete for an all-star, that you compete to have your name out there. And so a lot of times we'll watch some of those teams, and I love seeing if they compete or if they laid it down early in the season. So, no, I would say that really what gives me an advantage is that the way that I looked at the game, and hopefully, you know, that gives me a unique perspective when I'm out there trying to talk to other basketball heads like myself.
Ennis misses.
You can see that he definitely takes rebounding seriously, and his size really helps him come down with plenty of those tough boards.
Mbah-a-Moute, and a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here. First trip to the free throw line for him in this one.
He's knocked down 3/4 of his foul shots this season, so he's right around 75%.
Two shots.
First free throw is good. And Luke Walton, the Lakers' 6th head coach in the last 6 seasons, counting interims. I think they're going to be patient with him, though, as he rebuilds.
I hope so. I mean, the fact that he's a familiar face, a SoCal native, and a former Laker helps buy patience from the fans. Also, his deal is guaranteed through 2020. They need to give him a chance.
Channing Frye's checked in for Lopez. And Mbah-a-Moute drops them both. Lakers trail by 15. They set the pick. And he's going up for the alley-oop. Stolen away. Nice job to interrupt the alley-oop attempt there. Here's Tucker, and he drops in the layup off the glass. Tucker's got 5 points now in the quarter.
Indicative of what we've seen tonight. One team being the aggressor, the other failing to react.
We know the saying, numbers don't lie. You can see it up there on the scoreboard.
Now here's Ennis, looking for his first basket still in this one. Parked down low that time, and he got the 3-second call. Now we get a chance to check out the standings out west. Already we're in December. Taking a look at Houston. Here in the early part of the season, they've acquired the 3rd best record in the conference. And, of course, the Lakers, 5.5 games behind.
And I think for the Lakers, there were fears they'd be one of the NBA's doormats this season. Those fears have turned out to be well-founded.
Well, it's not really shocking, is it, considering the makeup of their roster? They need a ton of help in many areas if they want to get better.
And close to making the defense pay for the lax coverage that time.
No one near him. And it's good off the back rim and in. Ennis has got his first points in this one. Rockets leading by 15. Screen by Mbah-a-Moute. Back to Green. And a chance here to take a look at the shooting chart for Harden.
And everything he's touched has turned to gold. If you are on defense, you have to make sure all 5 players know exactly where he is at all times, because if he gets a sliver of a look, he'll get it done.
2 shots.
Free throw drops for Green. And both free throws good for Green. And the Lakers, Greg, have acquired some intriguing young talent. Do you see this group blossoming into elite status?
I mean, there's still some question marks. Injuries have been an issue. I do see some all-star potential for some of their young fellas. Superstar potential, though, tougher to say. They've got something to build on, though, and that's key.
Kuzma can't get it to go. Rockets leading by 17. Gordon, the pass to Nene. Over Frye. Fires from deep. It's good from long range. And Mbah-a-Moute has got 5 now.
And no matter who it is, that kind of D isn't going to get it done.
There's the pick. Now here's Ennis, defended by Gordon. The offensive rebound. Green with the block.
And physically, there's no doubt they've been the stronger team. A +10 rebound advantage tells you all you need to know. And after really leaning on that three-point shot in the first half, seeming like they're just getting away from it here in the second. More of the shots coming from the interior.
Here's Ennis. Pass to Kuzma. To halt the run. It's good. The assist that time from Ennis. Ennis has got 3 assists now in this one. Houston's gone 3 of 7 from three-point range here in quarter number 3. There's 1:47 left to play in the third. Here's Green. It's hauled in by Zubac.
A hand right in his face on the layup. Excellent defense that time in the paint.
Here's Kuzma. He drains the quick shot. Kuzma's got 8 here in the quarter.
Just a positive force right now for these guys, and though his team has fallen a bit short, it's not because of him.
Now here's Gordon. 11 points in the game.
Not a lot of resistance on the inside, and they're taking full advantage.
You watch the way Eric Gordon releases the ball from deep, and you just have to love it. He gets it going, Chris, all in one motion, and you can see the power in his legs when he rises up.
Well, Gordon, for his career, has always been a great three-point shooter. The Rockets made the most of his ability to shoot the three from deep with their style of play. He's right near the top of the league in three-point shots per game.
One shot.
Free throw good from Eric Gordon.
Oh, well, the Rockets have a pretty simple game plan. Put up a ton of threes and get as many deep threats on the floor as you can.
Ennis with the ball. He's against Gordon. Hits. Count that one from Ennis.
And not being as aggressive from the three-point line anymore. They had a lot more attempts in that first half.
And often we can exaggerate about how much a team hoists up the threes, but it isn't an exaggeration with the Rockets. They do it at a record pace.
Oh, yeah, at times last season, almost half of their shots were from three. By far the most three-point attempts in the league. I mean, you look at their offensive numbers, and clearly it was the right approach for them.
There's 49 seconds left in the third quarter of the game. It's a nice passing here by Los Angeles. Hart, that's good. And the Rockets with possession here. Earlier, they held a 23-point lead. Nene outside. Screen by Baamute. From deep, Green. Rebounded by the Lakers. Kuzma's got 4 rebounds now tonight.
And he's missed every single shot he's attempted today, but somehow they're still in the lead.
Here's Zubac. Oh, that's blocked. Goes back up. Hits it despite the hat. Great, strong finish. And he'll go to the line for one more. It's on Nene. The Lakers have gone just 4 of 8 from the line tonight, hoping to move that free throw percentage up a bit.
One shot. One shot.
The free throw drops for Zubac. Gordon kicks to Mbaamute. Another miss by Houston. And so it's the Houston Rockets up by a dozen here at the end of the quarter. Their strategy has been clear tonight. Work the ball inside, get shots in the paint, and now they are scoring with ease. And we'll be right back after this. Welcome back. Fourth quarter action starting up in what has been a one-sided show. Ennis with the ball. A moment now to reset the lineups, brought to us by Gatorade. All fueled up here for the fourth quarter. So the Lakers 5 right now. Ennis out there with Hart. Then it's Ivica Zubac. Then there's Channing Frye. And it's Kuzma in at the 3 spot. And of course, NBA players have all reached this pinnacle through dedication, through very hard work. Chris, can you talk about the hard work and effort that goes into playing and succeeding at this NBA level?
Well, if you're in high school or middle school, when your friends are at the movies, you're on the basketball court. When your friends are hanging out at a party, you're at the basketball court. When your friends and his family on vacation, you're at the basketball court. I don't think many people understand the dedication. You know, for many guys, it's more than 4 hours a day in the gym, and a lot of that is just sitting in the gym, just smelling the gym. You know, of course you're going to work out, of course you're going to shoot, but it's everything basketball. You know, on my wall I had Dominique, Magic, Bird. I had all these guys, Isaiah, cut out magazines, and I would put their pictures on my wall and work out and do push-ups looking at them. And I would know their moves. I would know everything. You know, I remember Kenny Smith after his dunk contest. He stood at the free throw line and threw the ball between his legs, threw it off the backboard and dunked. I went in the backyard in Detroit, shoveled the snow, and we worked on that dunk all night, freezing. I mean, you have to love it. So, you know, when you love something, my father taught me, it's not work. And so you got to start with the love, and then all the other work and dedication is just part of the journey.
I love the message, but boy, I like that Kenny Smith story. That is a great, great story.
And always a bit of risk on those long passes. Lucky the D couldn't come up with it there.
The Lakers making a switch here. Thomas is checked in. Houston also making some changes. Anderson, he's checked in for Mbamute. Ariza comes in for P.J. Tucker. And it's James Harden in for Gerald Green. Here's Harden, and a lot of contact on that one, so he'll shoot 2 here.
And last season, Harden just put up some incredible numbers all across the board. His assists were league leading, which nobody saw coming. He didn't have a big drop in his own scoring, even as he was creating so much more for others.
Two shots.
First one falls for him. And with Harden, as you said, Chris, nobody saw his assist totals coming except maybe his coach, Mike D'Antoni, one of the Coach of the Year candidates, certainly all season long with what he did in that 55-win Rockets season. When Harden heard what his coach expected, Chris, he laughed it off.
Yeah, and part of it was the system, but Harden he found his groove. I mean, you think about just the seasons he's had. He's just played incredible, and he's going to have to bring those turnover numbers down. Not used to playing with the ball and not used to being in that position that much. Expect the turnover numbers to come down this season.
Now here's Thomas. Floats one up. They get it back. And denied. He sends it right off the glass. Just over a minute played here in the fourth. Anderson kicks to Harden. And oh boy, a lot of contact there, but he gets the call and will shoot 2.
And watching James Harden, the amount of shots he is able to create for himself and his teammates, he just does so much from his position that is unrivaled. One of the greatest offensive threats, not only today, but really of the last decade.
Shooting 2.
And the first one drops. And for Harden, he's been in the conversation, Greg, for MVP for several years. The way he's able to just carry an offense with his creativity garners attention.
And Kevin, I think he might have won it last year if it wasn't for the amazing season put in by Russell Westbrook. Don't count Harden out, though. He's such a unique talent on offense. Maybe this will be his year to bring home that MVP award.
Harden hits them both.
Well, it had been a little bit of a bumpy ride for Mike D'Antoni before coming to Houston. He had underwhelming results in New York and LA before taking time off from coaching, but he's found great success since coming back with the Rockets.
Ingram kicks to Thomas. Here's the teardrop. It's rebounded by Houston. Earlier, they held a 23-point lead.
The edge on the glass is the difference. It's allowed them to build this lead.
Capella inside. Zubac's defending. And a lot of contact on that one, so he'll shoot 2 here. And when the Rockets hired Mike D'Antoni, there wasn't a lot of fanfare. But this has turned out to be one of the best fits in his coaching career. In fact, he was the NBA Coach of the Year last season.
Yeah, you never know how a coach will mesh with the team, and D'Antoni has fit in perfectly here. He made some changes early on and has the Rockets as a great offensive powerhouse. Even has the team playing some defense. I mean, something his teams have never been known for.
That free throw, no good.
Wow, and the big man Capella has proven to be a reliable role player, a strong physical presence who takes smart shots and contributes well on D.
And the Lakers making a change here. Lopez is checked in. He hits the second from the line. And one reason why the Rockets were okay with letting Dwight Howard leave was because they knew that Clint Capella could fill that role. He quietly gives this team that finisher down on the block, and he has been absolutely huge for the Rockets.
Oh, yeah, maybe the best in the league at finishing off lobs last year. Not the most spectacular, but the most consistent last year on that pick and roll because he's so active without the ball. Always moving, giving guards a target, great hands to catch and finish.
And the D has gotten a little bit laxed here defending the triple.
Anderson dishes to Harden. A little over 2.5 minutes have passed here in the fourth quarter. Ariza no up. Lakers trail by 13. Thomas gets a wide open look, and again it's the Lakers from deep.
He's feeling it this half. Total turnaround after a rough first half.
Rockets shooting 48% from the field. Not bad at all. Paul with the ball. Now defended by Randall. And Chris Paul the bucket on the assist by Harden. Harden's got his 5th assist in this one. And here is Ball. Feeds to Ingram. Thomas kicks to Ball. Lopez a screen on Harden. Thomas outside. Again, Thomas missing.
Now, he doesn't look like himself right now. Nothing is going his way.
Paul kicks to Ariza. And Ariza with the stuff.
Well, what you know about Paul, he sees everything as it develops. That time he hits the wide open man.
The Lakers have gone 2 of 7 from the field in what's been a cold start to the fourth quarter for them. Now here's Ball. Defense is right there. Thomas outside. Again, Thomas missing.
He keeps battling, but so far this quarter, he hasn't been able to get it going.
Kicks it out to Paul. Shoots the 3. And it's Ingram with the rebound. Lakers trail by 14. And Thomas has it in the corner. That doesn't go either for Thomas.
And so far this quarter, he's been a little off on his game.
Yeah, the scoring, I mean, is not coming easy for him. You have to get into a little rhythm, but that's when you can make the extra pass. Play the role of the facilitator.
Now, here's Ball. Here's Ingram, and the layup's good off the glass.
And you have to have an appreciation for Ball's passing skills. I mean, he just sees the floor beautifully, easily working the ball over to open teammates.
Here is Paul. The dish to Harden. Anderson the screen. It's Harden with the drive, and he's fouled pretty hard on that shot, but he's got the chance to pick up the points at the line. It's on Isaiah Thomas. Well, it seemed like destiny. The Lonzo Ball would end up with the Lakers. He found his way to the team he grew up watching.
You know, and rarely do you see a team and player be such a perfect fit. But that's the case here, and the pressure will be on Lonzo to succeed in L.A., put a lot of faith in getting to the Lakers. And remember, he turned down workouts from every other team because he wanted to wear that Laker uniform.
Free throw good, James Harden. Chris, we've seen video review get introduced into the NBA and tweaked as we go along, refining it, polishing it off. And at this point, would you like to see video review expanded even further? Or do you think it's in a good spot where it stands right now?
I think it's in a good spot right now. I'm sure if I had time to think about it, there are areas in which you want to go to. But if you really think about it, I mean, the game is supposed to be a spur of the moment. It's supposed to be just players free-flowing and playing, and you don't want to make the game slower by going to the officiating video every single time. Right now, I don't think you should do it on charges and blocks, which is probably one of the most controversial calls in the game. I think where we have it now is good because it gives a balance, and right now we do not need the game to lengthen in any way. If anything, shorten, and I think adding anything more to refereeing and videos, I think would just make the game last longer.
He misses the free throw. And Brandon Ingram, the second overall pick in 2016 out of Duke. What do you make of his rookie season?
You know, very much a work in progress. You have to remember how young he is. Didn't turn 19 until 3 months before the draft. And he's still rail thin. So he's got a chance to improve very quickly over the next few seasons as his body continues to mature.
And he sinks the second.
And at 6'9", Brandon Ingram played some point guard for the Lakers last season when injuries hit. He actually played point guard in high school and kept those perimeter skills even as he shot up in height.
Got a piece of it. Stolen by Thomas. Now here's ball. Defended by Paul. And that one's good. Ingram.
Gotta see Ingram get going down low. Just another dimension of his game that he continues to develop.
And Chris, Ingram really underrated as a passer.
Well, that might be the best part of his game as a rookie. Great ball handling and playmaking ability for a player of his height. I think he has some point forward in his future.
Now here's Thomas. Lopez kicks to Thomas. And it's out of bounds. Last touch by Thomas. Rockets leading by 10. Harden the pass to Paul. Back to Harden. Anderson the screen. It's Harden with the drive. Here's Capella. It's good. Now he's shooting 6 for 7.
+8 in the rebound differential. One more reason why they're in control.
Ball dishes to Thomas. The pass to Ball. Lakers passing it around. Picked by Randall. Pass to Ball. Rebounded by Capella. Capella's got his 16th rebound on the night. Here's Anderson. And so he earns a trip to the line. Official saw the contact and he'll shoot 2.
Ryan Anderson has such an easy stroke from distance. You can't help but notice it. He plants his feet so well and has a reliable motion.
Shooting 2.
And he knocks down the first one. And with Anderson, you talk about how quick his shot can come off, how quickly he gets that baby away. Chris, he really can open things up as a forward who needs a man close to him at all times.
What makes Anderson such a great deep ball threat is his height along with the release that he has because his release is so high.
And that's good as he hits both of his shots.
I love and admire Anderson's consistency. A terrific stretch four, a real matchup problem for many teams.
Ball kicks to Thomas. The feed now to Ball. They set the pick. Lopez a screen on Paul, and Paul over to help. Shot clock at 6. From 11 feet away, misses off the right iron.
Hey, look, that's what they want. The ball is in his hands in the post. Just didn't have the touch that time.
Ariza, good. It's Harden with the assist that time. 14 points for Ariza.
It's clear to me. Is it clear to you that Ariza feels at home in the post? I mean, just working his way inside and nailing these quality shots.
Picked by Randall. Thomas kicks to Ingram, to the middle. It's tipped and stolen by Ariza. Here we go, one-on-one. Here's Harden. Excellent D from Thomas.
The D doing everything they can to cut him off on his way to the hoop.
To the left wing, here's Ball. Los Angeles with another miss. Rockets leading by 16. Paul goes in, and the dunk by Capella.
Oh, such a beautiful pass to set that one up.
Yeah, the pass might have been pretty, but the finish was angry. Now Ball. Lopez left side. Shoots over Capella. Lopez, no luck. And here's Houston. They're on a 13-5 run here. Harden the pass to Paul. This one for 3. Rockets keep it going with the new 24-second clock. Great open look there. 24 points for James Harden.
Oh, great ball movement there.
Guys, they're looking for a way to score here.
Yeah, they've had a tough time taking the lid off.
Lopez a screen. Here's Thomas, and Capella sends it back. Harden against Thomas. Harden kicks to Paul. He feeds it to Ariza. Ariza with another miss.
Well, after hitting a couple in the first, he has cooled down a bit here.
The 3 from Thomas. Up again. It's good on the putback.
And those second chance points really become almost like bonus points when you can get them.
Harden dishes to Paul. Back to Harden. Good, and Paul gets the assist. Paul's got his 7th assist here tonight.
Oh, man, I really enjoy seeing Harden connect from the interior, showing he's more than just a perimeter scorer.
And the Lakers call time here.
And we all know Brook Lopez can score in the post, and he might be just as valuable working from the elbow and running in that pick and pop action.
And now the presentation of our Jordan Player of the Game, Clint Capella.
Yeah, and his percentage from the field tonight seems almost made up. I didn't think it was possible to have that kind of success shooting the basketball. You need a little bit of luck, a bunch of hard work, and a whole lot of talent.
After 2 straight losses, they switched it up a bit tonight, giving him a much bigger role, and it's worked out even better than they could have hoped for. And so it's the Lakers with it. Ball kicks to Thomas. Randall a screen on Paul. And there's the 3-second call, this one on the defense. Well, the league has begun a program to crunch the numbers and learn how to reduce player injuries. It's just getting started. But, Chris, exciting to think that we'd be able to cut down on that part of the game.
Oh, yeah. You're talking to a guy that suffered injuries most of my career. I'm glad that we have more information now as far as, looking on the bench. You have player tracking cameras, the nutrition. You have more research and flexibility and strength. And so now it can all be measured. And as long as the players-doctor relationship is kept in privacy, I think it'll make a big difference.
Now, here's Ball. Lopez up top. Picked by Randall, kicks the ball, lets it go with a 3. And Clint Capella is going to pick up a foul. That's his 4th foul of the contest. Now here's Ball. He's guarded closely. The 3 from Thomas. Randall, great positioning on the putback.
You see what Randall can do when in full attack mode? There, converting off of the miss.
Now here's Paul, screened by Capella. Nice job coming off that screen. 29 points for James Harden.
And piling on to that big lead, we know he has the range late on the defensive reaction.
I mean, yeah, you can't break down. Not now. Defensively, at this point, I mean, you're already too far in the hole.
Ball no good.
Well, after a terrific last quarter, he has looked utterly lost and down on himself. He can't get anything to go there. He can't get right.
Thomas with the steal. Fast break, the Lakers. Ball's running. Ingram wide open. And a big bounce off the rim, but it sinks right in. Ingram's got 7 now in this quarter.
And for taller players, the mid-range shot will be there. Ingram well served to knock it down.
Anderson the screen. Ariza has the open look. The three-pointer no good. Lakers trail by 19.
And this is going to end in a lopsided victory. I love the tenacity and aggressiveness as well as the ability to close. You really got to give it up here for Houston.
Looking at both these teams, they're great rebounders, and on any given night, you might not know who would have the advantage on the boards.
They made the most of those extra rebounds as well, Kevin.
And so this will now translate to 14 wins on the season.
And they'll take the win tonight, setting the tone in the first matchup of this 4-game season series.
And while there was some nice performances tonight, it definitely ended up being a solid outing for Clint Capella.
Well, his defense gave them the spark they needed, protecting the rim with purpose. They were afraid to bring the ball inside against the big fella.
Anderson can't get it to go. 36 seconds left in the game. Ball with it. Chris Paul covering. Ball with it. Dishes it to Randall. Whistle blows. Yep, that's going to be a travel.
And hate to make a mistake there. Have to stay focused.
You're so right. Trying to shrink the deficit, sometimes you push too hard to make something happen.
.23 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Harden outside. So we see Houston taking the W here. This one was over well before the final buzzer. The fans were waiting for something to get excited about, Greg, but they never got it.
They sure didn't. I mean, they just rolled to this win. They made it look really easy. What an efficient performance at both ends.
It's time now to go courtside as we send you over to David Aldridge from the sideline. David, take it away.
Thank you, Kevin. Chris, big win tonight. What do you think was the biggest factor?
I mean, I don't know. You know, it was just our defense. You know, obviously our offense fed off of it. Guys made open shots, but I think we really locked down defensively, and that's what we're trying to make sure is that we're a defensive team every night.
Well, you were a defensive team tonight, Chris. Thanks for your time. Kevin?
Thank you, David. Great interview once again. And that about wraps it up. For Chris Webber, Greg Anthony, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan. Thank you for being with us. See you later.